maybe 2025 has not been a great year for you, or maybe it has, right? But what we all know is that the market is not the best. Jobs, AI is really disrupting the market, and it's going to affect everybody. Yeah, even the skilled ones are getting laid off. The white collar jobs are getting layoffs. The robots in warehouses are taking over warehouse jobs. And I've talked openly about how my company has deployed robots for almost 5 years now, and our numbers are coming down and down and down. Meanwhile, we're making a lot of profits. And the next frontier is that how are you going to compete with the robot? Or should you compete with the robot? Are you going to join the robot party? Right? Where are the jobs? And that should be a separate video where we're gonna look at the BLS data and look deeply at where the job creation is and see if people should start building skills for those current jobs. This data is very difficult to collect, so I understand that, right? Because you got people coming from 40 plus countries, right? Because they're excluding the North African countries when they do these surveys. It's very hard to painstakingly pick out this group and some of them have intermarried, right? So it's very difficult. So I see why they can't have these publications yearly like they do with other groups. But the publication is how Sub-Saharan Africans contribute to the U.S. economy, because a lot of these FBA talking points always look at it from the taker's perspective, which is the welfare perspective, the perspective of what are you getting and not what are you giving, you know. And we have to let people know that we are not just takers, we are also givers, that we contribute certain things to the same economy. I don't like when they use the word spending power, because spending power means nobody knows where the money comes from and you're just spending it. I like to see how I would say economic participation, like what you do within that same economies that you're part of, you know. But yeah, he talks. We've done this before, so again, let's break this down. This is Sub-Saharan Africa, so it's going to exclude Algeria, Egypt, Libya, Morocco, Tunisia. Okay, so it excludes North Africa, and it's going to cover countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Ethiopia, South Africa, the usual suspects, right? Uganda, all the other groups from Sub-Saharan Africa. Uh, but this is something that when I was a STEM and I'm part of this group, so a lot of this applies to me personally. I'm a STEM graduate. So when I was doing STEM, when I left grad school in 2013, I already could see that from my own classrooms. This is something that I could personally see. It wasn't data that I read somewhere. This is my own lived experience. Sub Saharan African immigrants have higher levels of educational attainment than the US population as a whole, and are more likely to have earned their degree in science, technology, engineering, and math, or in a STEM field. The and I made a video where I talked about we shouldn't be seen as special. You know, some people like they get one positive news and they're going all over the place and they're overly excited and they think they're better than the other group. That's not what should be. This is for other groups to look at and say, well, what are these guys doing that we can do for our communities? Clearly, something is working. And I exposed something that a lot of people don't know. One is selective immigration. So when the US government does immigration, it's looking for the best in these countries. So obviously, those guys are going to be academically of a different caliber. Secondly, and then if you look at family immigration, those first group that were selected based on that caliber, now their families are coming. So you can make an argument for hereditary or just culture within that particular group. But one other thing that nobody gets praised for because it's Africa, it's overlooked. It's the same system in India. And look at what the Indians are doing. It's colonial education. Okay, people want you to hate colonialism, but this is really colonial education. The curriculum in India is pretty much the same as across Sub-Saharan Africa. The British system, IB, which my son does here in the Dallas area. When I moved my son from public school into an IB program, he was a gifted student in public school in Allen, which is one of the best public schools in the city. But when he went into an IB program, he struggled his first year. It took him a while to get back to. This is somebody that is 98 percentile math for his cohort, and he still had struggles when he got into an IB program due to how rigorous those IB programs are. Which is why I've been saying that Africa can have the worst of every statistic, but the one great statistic that nobody captures is the K through 12, the kindergarten through 12 education across all Sub-Saharan Africa, especially French and English Africa. Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, Zambia, all the way through Botswana, Namibia, and then West Africa, Ghana, Nigeria. If I put a sample high school graduating exam, WAEC, here, most people cannot answer the questions. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to get through the WAEC program to get a passing score enough to get into a US university. That passing score is very difficult. So this is what Americans and people in the West don't know. That, okay, well, these guys, it's not that we're dumb, it's just that they're coming from a much rigorous academic system that makes it very easy for them to do science, technology, engineering, and math. Now you cannot make that argument that they get these degrees, these STEM degrees, and they don't build anything or they don't take it back home to do anything for their countries. A lot of people want to, but the bureaucracy at home, the same capitalism that we've talked about, really makes it difficult for you to use your ideas in a country that is not open market. It's not free market. And the Africans will lose a lot of this talent to the West until they become a free market, until they take away all these controls and open up their markets. If they don't open up their markets, they will have this problem of people going somewhere where the market is open for them to compete fairly. Um, Another thing here, which again I don't like the word spending power because it just that. I mean, what if someone benefits and they're just spending the money, right? I don't like that, but it still tells you that they're doing, and this was 2018, so I think the numbers are a little bit higher, but 4.7 billion to state and local taxes, 10.1 billion to federal taxes. A lot of these federal taxes still go to fund these benefit programs right here. Medicare alone 5.8 billion. Again in 2018, 1.6 billion in social security. This same goes back through the same social programs that other groups benefit from, right? Because you widening the pool, uh, and with a lot of these people being high income earners, they're going to contribute to these programs that go to benefit poorer people.